Levit and Bruno, the battle against espionage in Washington, D.C. The federal courthouse in Washington, D.C. was shrouded in a thick, oppressive tension. The murmurs of reporters, the piercing stares of government officials, and the rapid scribbling of pens merged into a chaotic symphony. At the heart of this storm stood Victor Grayson, a former Pentagon official with an eerily calm demeanor, facing espionage charges for China. Yet, no one could have predicted that two unlikely figures would shift the entire trajectory of this trial. Caroline Levitt, the White House press secretary, and her steadfast companion, Bruno, a German shepherd marked by a long scar along his left side, a testament to his untold struggles. This was more than just a trial. It was a fight for national security, where truth hid in the darkest corners and unexpected allies could hold the key to unraveling it all. In the sections below, we'll explore the gripping saga of Caroline and Bruno, from a startling courtroom revelation to a chilling discovery in a Virginia warehouse, culminating in a conclusion that rocked Washington to its foundation. A fateful trial. Washington, D.C. is no stranger to political scandals or high-stakes legal battles, but Victor Grayson's case stood apart. Once a trusted Pentagon insider, Grayson now occupied the defendant's table, accused of selling America's most closely guarded secrets to China, a formidable global rival. The allegations were staggering, raising a haunting question. How could someone who pledged loyalty to the nation commit such a devastating betrayal? On the other side of this drama was Caroline Levitt, the White House press secretary, a sharp, resolute woman who thrived under pressure. Her role extended beyond managing the press and safeguarding sensitive information. She was determined to unearth the truth. Beside her stood Bruno, a German shepherd trained during the Trump administration. With his ever-alert ears, keen nose, and unerring instincts, Bruno was more than a mere dog. He was a formidable asset, skilled at detecting listening devices, explosives, and hidden dangers. Bruno's left side bore a long scar, a memento from a past encounter with a bomb-wielding suspect. Despite suffering grave injuries, he had leapt into action, neutralizing the threat and saving countless lives. Since that day, Caroline had insisted on keeping Bruno close, recognizing that his exceptional skills could tip the scales in moments of crisis. And today, in the federal courthouse, Bruno would once again demonstrate his invaluable worth. Part 1: A horrifying discovery in the courtroom. The trial commenced under a weighty silence. Prosecutor Anna Reynolds, a formidable woman with a gaze as cutting as a knife, took the podium, laying out the charges against Grayson. Her voice was crisp and unyielding. Victor Grayson has betrayed his nation. For 3 years, he fed classified Pentagon documents to the Chinese government, military strategies, lists of covert operatives. His actions aren't just criminal. They're a stab at the very trust we hold dear. The courtroom held its breath, the only sound the faint gasps of onlookers. Grayson sat with his hands clasped, his expression unreadable. But Caroline, observing from the back row, caught something. A fleeting look, a grip too tight, subtle tells that only a seasoned eye would notice. She leaned down and murmured a quiet command to Bruno. "Search." Bruno responded instantly. His ears shot up. His nose quivered as if tracking an unseen quarry. With purposeful strides, he approached the defendant's table. A low growl escaped him, freezing the room in suspense. Grayson shifted, a flicker of alarm in his eyes, though he swiftly masked it. Then Bruno halted. He sniffed intently around the chair's legs before pawing furiously at the table's underside. A faint click sounded as a tiny device, no bigger than a coin, dropped to the floor. A listening device so expertly concealed that even the security team had missed it. Pandemonium broke loose. Reporters jostled for photos, lawyers shouted protests, and Grayson's brow creased in unease for the first time. Judge Daniel Harper, a towering figure with a booming voice, pounded his gavel. "Order! This court will recess to examine this device at once." Caroline rose, her eyes fixed on Grayson. She knew this was no fluke. Bruno had cracked open a window to the truth, and the real work was just beginning. Part 2. The investigation after the break. Judge Harper mandated a 48-hour recess to trace the device's origins. Ethan Brooks, an FBI agent with silver hair and piercing eyes, took charge of the analysis. In the FBI's makeshift courthouse office, Brooks examined the device under a digital microscope. Within minutes, he looked up, his tone grim. "This is Chinese tech, compact, with sophisticated signal encryption. Only top-tier spies have access to this." A pressing question remained. Who had planted the device under Grayson's table, and why? Caroline, Bruno, and Brooks launched into a frantic investigation, reviewing security tapes, questioning staff, but every lead seemed to fizzle out. That is, until Bruno once again turned the tide. As Caroline and Brooks strategized in the office, Bruno growled and bolted toward a filing cabinet. He clawed at the bottom drawer, and when Brooks yanked it open, they found another device. This one designed not to listen, but to transmit data outward. "Someone's watching us right here," Brooks said, his voice taut. "Grayson's got partners, and they're still in play." Then, a breakthrough. Helen Parker, a retired Pentagon worker, reached out to Caroline via a secure line. Her voice shook. "6 months ago, I saw Grayson in the Pentagon parking lot with a stranger. He handed over a small suitcase and mentioned Virginia. I stayed quiet out of fear, but after seeing the trial on TV, I had to speak up." Helen's tip lit a spark in the gloom. Caroline, Bruno, and Brooks set their sights on a remote Virginia warehouse, 2 hours from Washington. They didn't know what awaited them, but Bruno's instincts and Caroline's resolve drove them onward. Part 3. The horrifying discovery at the Virginia warehouse. The team arrived at the warehouse under a moonless sky, headlights cutting through the darkness to reveal a rusted iron door. The air was frigid, thick with the scent of damp soil and decay. Bruno took the lead, nose working tirelessly, ears swiveling like antennae. "He's onto something," Caroline whispered, tightening her grip on his leash. Inside, their flashlights swept over crumbling crates and dusty tarps. The silence was eerie, too still. Then Bruno paused at a corner where the floor seemed off. He scratched at the concrete, producing a hollow thud. Brooks pried up a false slab with his knife, revealing a narrow staircase to a hidden basement. Descending, their pulses raced. The cramped space held metal shelves lined with gear, encrypted hard drives, Pentagon documents marked classified, and a small safe. Bruno growled as he nosed the safe, and when Brooks cracked it open, they froze. A list of U.S. undercover agents in China, complete with their mission timetables. "Grayson wasn't solo," Brooks rasped. "This is a full-blown spy ring. If this leaks to China, we lose dozens of lives." Caroline glanced at Bruno, a mix of pride and urgency in her eyes. Without him, this lair would have stayed buried. Part 4. The trial's conclusion and its profound significance. 2 days later, the trial resumed. Prosecutor Anna Reynolds strode to the podium, clutching the Virginia evidence. Her voice thundered, "We have undeniable proof that Victor Grayson not only sold secrets but ran a broader espionage network. These documents, uncovered through the efforts of White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt, FBI agent Ethan Brooks, and the dog Bruno, seal his guilt." The courtroom sat in stunned silence as Reynolds unveiled each item. The listening device, the hard drives, the agent list. Grayson, overwhelmed by the evidence, lowered his head. Under crushing pressure, he rose, voice quaking. "I plead guilty. I have no defense." Judge Harper sentenced him to life without parole. As Grayson was escorted out, his gaze was hollow, a shell of the man he'd been. Caroline stood at the back, petting Bruno's head. This triumph belonged to her team, and to Bruno, the scarred, silent hero. The Grayson case jolted Washington, eroding trust in the security apparatus. It sparked urgent debates about foreign espionage and the need for bold safeguards. Bruno, with his uncanny talents, emerged as an emblem of vigilance and loyalty, and Caroline Levitt, with her intellect and grit, showed that in the struggle against treachery, every ally, human or canine, is indispensable. Lessons from Caroline and Bruno. Caroline Levitt and Bruno's tale transcends a mere spy thriller. It's a testament to the ceaseless fight for national security, requiring alertness, collaboration, and ingenuity. From a DC courtroom to a Virginia hideout, their odyssey exposed a grim reality. Foes never rest, and sometimes, the truest heroes emerge from the shadows. If the story captivated you, stay tuned for more gripping tales. From Vietnam, I hope I've painted a vivid picture of the quiet war for national safety, and the vital roles of figures like Caroline and Bruno within it.